Nightly he reclined on broad couches as cones of perfumed fat dripped under the heat from the torches at great banquets, drinking deeply and gossiping with friends. He spent his money freely, and for the spending of his money he developed taste, manners, street etiquette, knowledge of seduction, city polish, personality, opinions about wine regions, largesse, cultivation, rivalries, intrigues, suspicions, and forward momentum. "Oh shit," he said to himself. "This is great. This is so fucking great. I should have started living wildly 15 years ago." So he lived on in this distant country, befriending all manners of people without lineage, sons of no one in particular, and begetting no one either, doing no work and spending freely, speaking to women with undressed hair in the open streets. After he had spent his last coin, famine came to the country. The grain houses stood empty. Ships sagged into their slips in the harbor, and their crews let the sails run slack. Purse snatchers fled for fatter cities, and stray dogs disappeared from the streets. Orchards breathed their last and slid back, coughing, into deserts. And the young man went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who took pity on him and sent him out to his fields to feed pigs, despite having no wages to offer him. It could not be said that he was doing well for himself. In his father's household there had been no pigs, and they were bigger than the young man ever imagined pigs could be, twice the size of a well-grown man. Sometimes they were a real fucking hassle, and more than once he had to strike an old, late-castrated boar too ready to snap at anything that moved during feeding time. But the sows were lazy and easy to please and canny and generally affectionate when they weren't farrowing, built nests, exchanged and received gifts from one another, bullied overeager barrows, followed him in a cloud around the field as he checked the fences, their sort of stupid, sort of wise-looking faces always squashed into an expression of patient, contemplative disinterest. No connections. The terms of his employment being what they were, he often longed to fill his stomach with the pods the pigs were eating. Occasionally, when he spotted a clean crust of old bread or a lump of good turnip, he saved it from the trough and stowed it in his pockets before turning the contents out. It could hardly be called wild. Savvy, if you wanted to put a shine on it. But sometimes there were shoats, well-born but that did not wean, short-sighted ones who failed to latch, too mild-tempered when knocked from the nipple by an elder sibling, whose mothers took a dislike to their looks and savaged them underfoot. Spare meat, but honestly come by and fresh. When there were no crusts or turnips to be had, the pigs ate straw, mud, bones, grass, roots. The remaining piglets, soap scum, churned over the kitchen midden, chewed down the ends of fences and staggered off, gum splintered, to bloated sleep. As pigs did, so did men. One day the young man spotted his father in the pig yard. He was dressed, if dressed was the right word for it, in a pig suit. Really just like a pig's skin wrapped around him like a cape, rooting around in the field, apparently pretending to be a pig. The main difference between him and the remaining pigs being sleekness and vitality of flesh. "I'm not supposed to have visitors here when I'm at work," the man said. "Whatever this is about will have to wait." "Pig sounds," his father said, still rooting. "Pig sounds, pig sounds." "This I won't do," the man said. "Honk," his father said cheerfully. "Honk, honk." The man set about working as best he could under the circumstances, dodging his father pig where he could, sweeping out the yard, pausing for breath with every pass of the rake. So the morning wore on, mostly in silence, and still his father rooted around the field, and still he raked around him. Then, "Son!" his father roared, standing up in the middle of the wallow and throwing his pig skin to the ground, at which point the other pigs bestirred themselves and gathered around it, scraping the hide with their remaining teeth and occasionally jockeying for better position. "Was that one of mine?" the man asked. "I have to do a head count every night, you know, and they take missing stock out of my wages, so to speak." "Think of how many of my servants have food to spare," the father said, "and here you are counting pigs, and ribs too." "Yes," the man said. "I remember your wealth, and the wealth of your servants too, and how you enrich them." "I am 10 feet tall," his father said. "I am 969 years old, and older than that. I was born to terrible hunters, men of renown and mighty in the earth. There were giants on the earth in those days and afterward."